Hello and welcome to TOTM-Tales of the Motherland. We decided to have some fun and introduce a series of videos about true myths and legends of Africa. Although we still own the rights to every story, the ones in this series are based on real events. We hope you enjoy discovering them or rediscovering them as much as we did. If you do, please remember to like, share, and hit the subscribe button. Thank you, and let's begin. Yaa Asantewaa, guardian of the Golden Stool. On the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, just north of the equator, lies a large piece of land that European explorers once nicknamed the Gold Coast, because of its immense supply of gold. This coast was home to much greenery, including vast forests boasting trees such as the limba, the ceiba, the abachi, the highly prized African mahogany, as well as other magnificent flora such as the elephant ears, jasmines, peonies, and countless other types of flowers that lavish the land with their breathtaking beauty and enrapturing scents. The fauna was just as awe-inspiring. Pennant-winged nightjars, West African reed frogs with their ability to change gender when their population grows low on males, the Kintampo rope squirrel, the bush elephant, the giant forest hog, and the common minke whale. Those were just a few of the magnificent life forms found in this part of the continent. Another prominent feature of the Gold Coast was the presence of the Asante, also called Ashanti, one of the largest groups of people that live on the west coast of the motherland. The Asantes were part of a larger group known as the Akan people. They were very industrious, crafty, and they were great builders. They built wealthy communities with impressive modern houses that boasted indoor flushing toilets and other impressive amenities, especially for those days. The cities often left traders and foreign explorers in awe, so advanced they were. Ashantis lived off the land, and they excelled in goldsmith. They used gold a lot since they had plenty around them. It was very common for the women and children to wear gold ornaments as a typical accessory to their bright attires. Those attires were often made out of kente, the iconic loomed fabric that is known worldwide as the quintessential Ashanti fabric. Their kings are always adorned with specially made kente clothes, along with an astonishing display of gold from head to toe. Before becoming a big and mighty kingdom, the Ashantis were spread over the land in small clans, and each one of them had a chief. One of the most influential figures among the Ashantis was a highly ranked military officer named Osei Tutu. He ruled honorably over his people in Kumasi, the prosperous capital city of the Ashanti that boasted large, clean streets and comfortable houses. Osei Tutu wanted to unite all Ashantis to form a very powerful empire together, rather than having everybody scattered around the land with their individual armies and occasional disputes. He therefore asked his priests to inquire to the ancestors and to God as to how he could unite the Asante people. In the late 1600s, his priest, named Okomfo Anochie, went into some intense prayer and invocations. He prayed and pleaded for days until finally a sign came from the sky. As he went into a trance, a cloud of dust began to form around Osei-Tutu. And out of that cloud, something bright and shiny seemed to make its way towards him. It was getting closer and closer and closer until it rested right onto his lap. Right there from the sky fell a golden stool. It was the most magnificent piece of furniture anyone had ever seen, let alone made. The craftsmanship was unparalleled and unlike anything the local artisans had ever made. It was made of massive gold with intricate engravings. This truly was divine workmanship. The stool came with very firm instructions though. It had to be kept preciously, and the king's bottom could slightly touch it only 3 times, and only during a ceremony called the enstoolment. It could not be paraded around either. It represented the true spirit of the Asante people, and if they kept all the instructions given along with the stool, it would strengthen the bond that held them together and keep them united forever. Osei-Tutu was very pleased, and he did as instructed and became the first king of the United Asante Empire, the first Asantehene as they are called. The stool stayed among the Asantes for generations of kings, and their bond grew stronger as time went on. Many generations passed, and many events occurred. One of them was the interest of the British Crown for all the gold in Asante soil. The United Kingdom wanted to subject the Asantes to their rules and to dominate them. That way, they would have access to all the gold, which the Asantes opposed fiercely. This caused a lot of unrest in the region for a long time, with both sides fighting and resisting as much as they could. Finally, in 1900, the British decided that if only they could get a hold of the Asante's precious golden stool, it would break their spirit and thus destabilize their resistance. Although they had already sent the Asante's young king Prempeh I into exile in the Seychelles, that did not have the desired effect, so they had to have that stool. Plus its weight in gold alone would be worth the effort. So the British governor at that time approached the clan's chiefs to force the acquisition of the precious stool. Here is what he said. Your king, Prempeh I, is in exile and will not return to Ashanti. His power and authority will be taken over by the representative of the Queen of Britain. He also demanded that a big fee be paid to the British Crown every year, and then he continued. Then there is the matter of the Golden Stool of Ashanti. The Queen is entitled to the stool. She must receive it. Where is the Golden Stool? I am the representative of the paramount power. Why have you relegated me to this ordinary chair? Why did you not take the opportunity of my coming to Kumasi to bring the golden stool for me to sit upon? The Ashanti people were outraged by such arrogance. They could not believe a stranger would dare talk into their chief's like that and actually demand to sit on the precious golden stool, the stool made just for the king. However, most chiefs dared not contradict the British governor. After all, most of the land was under British rule and the king was not there to guide them. They were in a very tight spot, so they were very scared to confront the British governor. But not all were scared. Among them stood Yaa Asantewaa, a 60-year-old woman from one of the clan's noble families. Later that day, she gathered everybody promptly and gave them one of the most inspiring speeches ever given in the kingdom. Here are her exact recorded words. Now, I have seen that some of you fear to go forward to fight for our king. If it were in the brave days, the days of Osetutu, Okomfo Anochie, and Opokuware, chiefs would not sit down to see their king taken away without firing a shot. No white man could have dared to speak to a chief of the Ashanti in the way the governor spoke to you chiefs this morning. Is it true that the bravery of the Ashanti is no more? I cannot believe it. It cannot be. I must say this. If you, the men of Ashanti, will not go forward, then we will. We, the women, will. I shall call upon my fellow women. We will fight the white men. We will fight till the last of us falls in the battlefields. Her courageous words brought back hope, pride, and dignity to the men, and together they planned a counterattack when the British soldiers finally descended on Kumasi a few days later. Yaa Asantewaa fired the first retaliatory shot, boosting the troops' confidence into combat. Thousands went forth and fought for their kingdom, for their way of life, for their future, and for the Ashanti spirit, the Golden Stool. They fought for 6 months, 6 long months, trying to protect their beloved stool. In the end, the British prevailed during this famous battle known as the War of the Golden Stool, and the Ashanti people gave them the Golden Stool. Or so it seemed. See, once she realized that her people would become subdued by the British army, Yaa Asantewaa had the best artisans craft a stool that resembled the original one, with a gold coating on the outside. It was so well made, and the British army had been envious of it for so long that they did not realize they had been duped. Meanwhile, the Ashanti buried the real stool in a nearby forest. Although their empire ended up falling under British rule, the Ashanti never let go of the great unified spirit. It is that spirit of unity that carried them through the ages and kept their culture vibrant to this day. After 24 years in exile, King Prempeh I finally returned home. Thousands gathered to welcome him in Kumasi and beyond, in what is now modern-day Ghana. He never got to thank Yaa Asantewaa for saving the stool, because she too was sent to exile, where she spent the rest of her life. But her legacy of courage and her boldness are still remembered and celebrated among her people. She is still honored in Ghana for her bravery and determination to save the heart of the Ashanti people, to save the Golden Stool. The Golden Stool still plays a vital role in the Ashanti's affairs today. Every new king is still slightly seated on it 3 times during the installment ceremony to officialize their power. That is still the only time they are in some sort of contact with it. Very few people have had the honor of seeing the Golden Stool lately, since it is secretly and preciously guarded and is rarely displayed to the general public. Its propitious descent among the Asantes sure changed the course of their history. A propitious descent indeed, on that fateful day when 𝐭𝐡𝐢𝐬 received it as a gift from the sky. The end.